Yeah, well, we've roughly got 278 hectares. 9 hectares of that belongs to our daughter, which is just across the road, which we farm in with her. And on that we have 800 ewes, 100 breeding cows. The ewes, the last 2 or 3 years, we've had close to 150% lambing. The cattle, we have taken on grazers at times when we get surplus grass, but we also rear up to 200 calves, 200 hoggets, ewe hoggets replacement, beef steers which are reared on the farm, 50 of them, just so we're not overstocked. We don't believe in farming to the hilt anymore. As we're getting older, we want to have less stress.
Well, I was born and bred in town, a builder's daughter, and worked in a bank, married Chris, and both of us came from town backgrounds rather than farming backgrounds. Along the way I went to work for the Department of Conservation here in Whakatane for 10 years. Loved that job, and that's probably reflects in what we do and how we've farmed the last few years in protecting the bush and the Queen Elizabeth II Trust blocks that we have.
But you look at the farm now, and we're quite proud of it, but it certainly wasn't like that when we came here. No. It was a runoff for a dairy farmer down on the plains, and there's very few fences, a lot of scrub. It was over 50% still in scrub.
We've had to bring our farm in from scratch.
We've got it's an environmental plan with environmental BOP, and they are helping assist us to plant and fence off various areas on the farm. And we've now got a beautiful bit of bush over there which we've put into Queen Elizabeth II.
A lot of our farm in the early days relied on the natural waterways, the springs that were already there. Well, now we have a bore and we pump all our water through everywhere. So those springs, to stop erosion, we have fenced them off, and some of those are the ones we've planted with native plants to retire that land around those springs.
We planted 100 acres of pine trees, a joint venture with Tasman Forestry, and that rings nearly half the farm on the western side, and it was all very marginal land at the time, and they're now 23 years of age, and that area there is protecting good 2/3 of our farm, particularly in the dry.
We'll be sorry to see them go, really.
Yeah.
And then wait for the next lot to grow again.
We've got these portable calf rearing sheds that we found because we don't have our calves under shelter for very long. That's in a shed. We put them out in the paddocks within 2 to 3 weeks. We've put up these shelters which enables the calves when it's wet to go in out of the weather.
They're on skids, and we can shift them from paddock to paddock or angle them differently if the wind's coming in from a different area.
A while back when we had a forest lease, we were up to 14 or 1500 ewes. Wow. We're now back to 800 ewes and thinking of reducing them more, mainly because of the work factor. And also this area, although we've been farming sheep for 40 odd years, is not really a good sheep area because fly strike, eczema, worm problems, they are harder to farm here than lots of areas. With succession planning, it has been a difficult one. We've got 4 children and they all love the farm. We've got 3 sons, 1 daughter, and even the daughter is farm orientated. She's bought a bit of land right next door to us. So we'll just have to take this year by year, I guess. We're reluctant to put in crops because of the fact of the huge rainfalls that we can have.
You have to farm to the environment, don't you?
Well, that's what we've
got to be very aware up here.
I've been president of Federation Farmers for 5 years, the Manawahe branch. We've been Marata School Committee. I was the chairman of the school committee for 8 years, chairman, and 10 years on the committee.
Well, I'm the Coast Care Coordinator for Marata area, and it's quite important looking after the coast down there because we've got a corridor that starts down at the bottom of the Hurapuru Road and comes right the way up through of native bush, and it's all fenced right through the farms, not just our own farm. There are several other farmers that have fenced off the waterway to the headwaters of the Mimiha stream.
And our son has just been married recently, and he's loved the bush and loved the farm and the gardens, and so he decided to be married here. And they were married in the bush, and we've had so many comments afterwards, why don't you hire this out? It's so beautiful. We've been here 41 years, and it'll be a while before we go. Yes, we love it.
We'll be sorry if the day ever comes where we have to make a choice and shift elsewhere. I think it would only be for health reasons, really. We'll stay here as long as we can. We love the bush. We love the lifestyle.